So the format of computation of income tax. So first, according to 2020 Financial Act, this computation I have taken from a website just to show you how it will be calculated with the help of a website. So this is the starting page. I have shown you like a image. So I have cropped the images and I have put it in the slides. So it will be easily to go through one by one. And the first thing is the assessment year. So for which year I am going to assess. So if you click the arrow, down arrow, it will show the year. It will show various years. So I can choose any year that I want to get assessed. So assessment year, before getting into the concept assessment year, we have to know about the previous year. So previous year is a period of 12 months beginning from April 1 to March 31st. So the assessment year is a 12-month period following the previous year, during which the assessee has to file his return of income. So if suppose I am going to file my income of the year 2015 to 16, so my assessment year is 2016 to 17. So for the income of 2015 to 16, I will calculate only after I came to know the 2015 to 16 the total income, so that I will get assessed in the 2016 to 17. So this is the assessment year. So next thing is a taxpayer. So taxpayer may be according to, already we have seen the section. So according to the income tax, there is a concept called person under the section 2 of 31. So individual, Hindu undivided family, nothing but a joint family business. So association of person. Here association of person and body of individual, there is some difference between these two concepts. So association of person is nothing but people associate themselves with the motive of earning income or producing something, like through production they want to earn some profit. So in those motive they associate themselves and they start a business and they are earning some profit, that they are considering as the association of persons. So body of individuals, nothing but maximum AOP and BOI are same, but there was some small difference in it. So nothing, body of individual is nothing but, for a given example, if suppose a group of people are traveling in a bus or they are traveling in a train, they are standing or waiting in a long queue. So even we can call them also as a body of individual. But in some point of time, if they join together and they earn something, we can call them as a body of individual. So domestic company, the company and the origin of the company, everything is in the country, is within our country. So that is the domestic company. Foreign company is nothing but from the other country, the investment is doing in our country. They are starting their factories or selling point or anything in our country. That is the foreign country. The firms and LLP. LLP is nothing but limited liability partnership. So if we take, there is a difference between the firm and LLP. According to the firm, there is no limited liability concept. That means, for a simple example, I can say, if suppose I am a owner of the company, I am starting my own firm by the investment of rupees 1 lakh. If suppose because of some bad situation, I get into the loss of rupees 25 lakhs. So totally I have to pay and I am liable for the full amount of 25 lakhs. But in the concept of LLP, that is limited liability partnership, if suppose I invest 1 lakh rupee and I got loss of 25 lakhs, the balance 24 lakhs the government could not recover from me. I am not personally liable for the money because my firm is a LLP firm, limited liability partnership firm. So if suppose myself and a partner jointly together and invested 1 lakh of rupee and we started a LLP. So if there is any loss occurs, apart from the amount of 1 lakh, all others that could not be recovered by the government as it is a LLP. You may have a doubt that how it is possible or like that. There will be a lot of procedures and there is a lot of act for registering the LLP. So all the LLP concepts, nothing will go wrong like that, what I have said. But for a simple example, the difference you should know. For that reason, I have given this example. This is the difference between the normal firm and the LLP. The liability is the major difference. Next, the cooperative society. As we all know, it is an artificial association of persons united voluntarily to meet their common economical, social and cultural needs and aspirations through a jointly owned and democratically controlled enterprise. So in a particular society, they have created a cooperative society for their own development, for their society's own economical, social and cultural development. They have formed a cooperative society. So there they got any profit, so that profit has to be get taxed. So they register their firm under the cooperative society. So these are the various types of taxpayers. So from these variations, we have to select any one, whether I am an individual or a joint family, AOP, BOI, domestic company, foreign company, firm, LLP or a cooperative society, that I have to fill it. Next one is the whether I am a male or female, senior citizen or a super senior citizen. So when we talk about senior citizen, the age group is between 60 to 80. For the male and female, normal male and female, below 60 will consider as a group. So 60 to 80 is a senior citizen, above 80 is a super senior citizen. The deductions and allowances given to the senior citizen and super senior citizens will be different compared to the age group of peoples who are below 60. So automatically, if I am a senior citizen or a super senior citizen, I may get medical insurance allowances, pension incomes allowances, allowance of treatment of different diseases. So for all these, I may get deductions. So under these categories, based on the age, male, female and senior citizen was divided. So either I have to select according to my age group in any one of this category. So the next thing is a residential this is the simple example. This is the slab rate actually for the income tax for the various age group of peoples. If suppose my age is below 60, so I have to go with the first column. So up to 2,50,000 I need not pay any tax. So from 2,50,000 to 3 lakh, it's a 5% of taxation. But for the senior citizen and super senior citizens, up to 3 lakhs, they need not pay any tax. And for super senior citizens, up to 5 lakhs, they need not pay any taxes. So these are the various different slab rates that the government is following for the different age group of peoples. So next thing is the residential status. So under residential status, there is a 3 division: resident, non-resident and not ordinary resident. So as we all know, resident is a person who are the citizen in a particular country. For example, in India means I am a resident in India. I am doing my business here. I am doing my profession here. I have settled here. So I am a resident in India. If suppose I am a non-resident means I am a foreign person who are my citizenship is other than India. But for the particular year, for the particular assessment year, I was here. So I am registering here maybe for the particular year I may earned income here. So for the reason I am registering. So that the case, if suppose I am a foreigner, for the particular year I was in India. So for that year I have earned something in India. So I am registering my tax. So that is the case, I have to mention non-resident. And not ordinary resident is something different from the resident and non-resident. For that, the government has given some guidelines. So who are not ordinarily resident? For example, the guidelines may be in the previous year, if suppose a person stayed in India for 182 days, we can consider as a not ordinary resident according to section 1A. If suppose according to section according to section 1B, the first section 1A was not accepted, or it is not possible. So next we move on to the section 61B. So according to section 1B, what the government is saying is, either in the previous year the person have to stay in India for 60 days, and the last 4 years immediately preceding the previous year, minimum 365 days the person have to be stayed in India. So either 61A or 61B have to be get satisfied for considered a person as a not ordinarily resident. Either in the previous year the person have to stay in India for 182 days, or the previous year 60 days and immediately preceding the previous year totally 365 days. So either 61A or 61B, either any one have to get satisfied. So that is that person we can consider as a not ordinarily resident. So either within these three we have to set our residential status.